Morning everybody, I'm the Barebow Brummie. Now, what you've just seen there is the shot process from start to finish. Now it may seem to the untrained eye that the archery shot process is a one piece smooth action from start to finish. It's actually not that. What it is, it's a whole series of different positions you need to achieve to create the perfect archery shot. So what I thought I'd do is break down the whole archery shot process into 7 fundamental stages. Now, I'm going to approach this as if you were a beginner archer. It doesn't mean all you experienced archers should just turn off and go and look at something else, because even experienced archers sometimes need to pay attention to the fundamentals. If there's something wrong with your archery shot process, invariably it's one of the fundamentals that is breaking down. I've often been asked at my club to come and have a look at an archer who's struggling to get some kind of consistency, and invariably I find that there's something in the fundamentals that they're not quite doing right. So it's always good to pay attention to the basics. So anyway, let's make a start. Step 1, stance. What you need to do, stand with your feet shoulder width apart and with your feet at 90 degrees to your target. Now I do know that some people stand with a slightly open stance, but from looking at it from a beginner's perspective, we're going to do simple, so we'll stand square onto our target. So anyway, your feet at 90 degrees to your target's over there. So your feet, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, all at 90 degrees to your target, and you look at your target over your lead shoulder. And it's as simple as that. Step 2, posture. You have to stand completely upright. Don't move your feet, stay square onto your target and stand completely up square. Imagine your body is a T. The body itself is the down line and your arms are outstretched to make a T. From that, your back arm bends in to your anchor point, and there you make the perfect archery stance. What you don't want to do is lean back on the shot like this as you go in, or worse still, lean forward into it and collapse on the whole shot process. Concentrate on making that T shape. Okay, good. Step 3, grip. Now you need to hold the bow in your hand with the back of the grip right across where your lifeline is, right in the recess of your hand, just there. So the bow sits into your hand like that, with just the grip from your thumb and your first finger. These 3 fingers don't really do anything at all. So from sideways, the bow just sits in your hand like that. Let's see if I can get a view from the back. You see that down there? That's the line your hand should take. The worst thing I see people do is they have a death grip on the bow like that. That's a really bad thing. There's no flexibility in it. You'll tend to twist the bow from side to side. It's a nice loose grip. You really don't hold it at all. Just a very light grip with your thumb and your forefinger, and your last 3 fingers do nothing at all. That's your grip. Step 4, the hook or the set position. As you see, I've already put my arrow on my bow. My grip's good. And now I just place whichever hand I'm going to use to pull the string back with. You use the first 3 fingers. You place the string in the crease behind the first knuckles of your 3 fingers. Whether or not you shoot Mediterranean or 3 fingers under, it doesn't really matter. They both go under there. It's at this point you can recheck all of the previous steps you've done. Is my stance good? Is my posture okay? Is my grip good? And then in the last step completely is my hook on the string good? And you notice that the bow is still pointed at the ground, because you don't want to do this up here just in case you accidentally let go of it and the arrow flies off in that direction. That would be really bad. So do this while pointing it down at the ground, and now you're ready to draw the bow back. Step 5, anchor point. Anchor point is very simply a reference point somewhere on your face where you need to draw the string back to. It has to be a consistent reference point. And it doesn't really matter which part of your face you choose, as long as you make it a consistent point. Some people choose the finger to the inside of the mouth. to the very edge of their mouth there. Personally, I use my thumb to my cheekbone, which I tend to draw to there like that. My thumb sits neatly under the cheekbone. Some people that shoot sighted go under the chin, but they always pick exactly the same place. The trick to anchor point is that consistency. You have to have the same anchor point every time, because the bow will react exactly the same every time if you do the same thing every time. Does that make sense? It's quite simple, I think, but hard to do. Step 6, release. Now, everything you've done so far has built up to the point where you let the arrow go. The release is probably the most important aspect of the whole shot process. If you don't get it right, the arrow will not go in the correct direction. The release is not a conscious opening of the hand to let go of the string. You have to let the string slip out of your fingers. Rick Stonebreaker once said to me, "Don't let go of the string, let the string go." And if you think about it, they are two completely different things. So the problem with it is, to practice it, you need to let go of the string on your bow. Now, I want to point out to you, never ever release, when you draw back on your bow, never ever let go of that string without an arrow on your bow. It can be catastrophic for your bow, it can be dangerous for you. Never ever do it. If I ever see you do it, I'm coming round your house. Now, for these purposes, I made a thing for me to practice with. And it's this. It's a simple piece of wood with a grip cut in it, and it's a couple of elastic bands and some string, and you can do that all day long. It doesn't do any damage at all. So you can practice your release with something like this if you fancy making one. You can also use one of these simple exercise bands, these great big elastic band type things. You could use one of those. So let's talk about the release. Very simply, come back to your full draw and allow the string just to slip out of your fingers. You see, there's no conscious opening of the hand like that. You literally just let it go. The hand hardly moves. Just once more, let it slip out of your hand. Okay, that's the release. On another point on the release, what I always advise people do is when they come back to full draw, some people tend to rush to release the arrow as fast as they possibly can. Literally draw back, release like that. That's a bad thing. You've not settled yourself into position. I always advise people to draw back, wait 2 or 3 seconds, and then release. That's by far the best thing to do. Now, once the arrow has been released, that's not the end of the shot process. You have to create a follow through. If you think about it, with any sport, there's always a follow through with something or other. If you're throwing a ball, you don't throw the ball and then stop. You throw the ball and you follow through. It's as simple as that. If ever you've played golf, and believe it or not, in the day I was a pretty good golfer, but there's always a follow through. You don't swing down to the ball and then stop dead. No, you follow through to a full finish. Exactly the same thing applies with archery. Let me go back to my little tool. Very simply, go back to your full draw, release, and you follow through with, let's get the thing the right way up, follow through, you draw back, you hold and release and follow through with the backhand back towards your ear. The hand comes straight back this way. That's called the follow through. That creates a nice clean release back like that. That's the follow through. And that, my friends, is the whole shot process from start to finish. So now we've done each individual step on their own, let's put the whole thing together and show the whole shot process. I'll talk you through while we're doing it. First things first, take your stance, think about your posture, load your arrow like that, take your grip, check your grip out, hook and set, ready to shoot, draw, fix your anchor point, wait a few seconds, release and follow through. That's the whole process explained out to you clearly. I've been the Bear Bro Brummy. Thank you for people that have already subscribed to the channel. If you like what I'm producing, please subscribe and like, and it'll be an excellent thing for you to do. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.